Hey, story fans, it's your old pal Writing Ref. I don't hate, I just officiate. Well, I don't even really officiate your favorite books. I do recommendations of books in which I tell you why I love them, and then I break down a passage and we study what we can learn from these outstanding authors by studying one of their scenes from their book. This week, we'll be going over Picking Up the Pieces by J.B. Abbott and studying a great scene from this wonderful cozy mystery right now.
Door sealed in 3, 2, 1.
Second jockey.
What do I sacrifice? Everything!
Hey, welcome back. As always, I start out by reading the back cover book blurb. Book blurb. See, I still can't say it. Back cover book blurb on the back cover. It's too much of a tongue twister. So here we go. Picking up the pieces. After her mother's passing, Katie Chambers returns to Cedar Bay, a serene enclave nestled in the southwest corner of Washington State's Whidbey Island, to support her newly widowed father, Jim Chambers. Stepping into her mother's footsteps, Katie takes on the role of graphic designer at Cedar Bay Puzzles. With the help of her father, she resurrects her mom's cherished initiative, the South Island Jigsaw Crew, a group of puzzle enthusiasts who gather weekly at the library to test and tackle the latest Cedar Bay puzzle creation. But when a member of their club is murdered, and Jim is the last person to see her alive, resulting in his arrest, Katie and the rest of the gang must use all their resources to obtain justice for both. To prove her father's innocence, Katie reaches out to Connor Crozier, a firefighter and her former flame who shattered her heart 7 years ago. With problems piling up at work and competitor outright accusing CBP of stealing his designs, it's up to Katie to puzzle out the mystery before it's too late. Perfect for fans of the Fellowship of Puzzle Makers and the Marlowe Murder Club, this charming and fun mystery will have all readers puzzling over the mystery until the last page. Here's my recommendation. Picking Up the Pieces is a cozy mystery that has an imaginative quirk with an ensemble cast of mystery solvers rather than a single detective. While point-of-view character Katie Chambers and her personal relationships drive the book, I really felt like this was a team effort. Perhaps there's a Scooby-Doo fan somewhere still in me that wish they had a dog to help them in this mystery-incorporated team built from Jigsaw Puzzle Solving Club. They do have a cat at least. The conflict is interesting in that the authorities of the small town really want them to drop the case, even going so far as to threaten the group with obstruction. But these are hard-headed, meddling college kids, and without them the mystery would never have been solved. I highly recommend Picking Up the Pieces, and look forward to this becoming a fan favorite mystery series. And as always, I recommend these books because they are ones that we as writers can really learn something from. This book does a lot of things well. It gets off to a bit of a slow burn, but there are events happening throughout that introduction which become important later. The clues are revealed in a fun order for the reader to feel like they're part of the team as they're solving the mystery. But I wanted to show off one scene in particular that accomplishes something a lot of authors struggle with, and that's when you have, instead of the traditional building of tension, a sudden emotional tone shift, and to be able to pull that off well can be really difficult. In this scene that I'm about to read you and show some AI pictures of, Katie is sitting down with a police lieutenant covering the case of a murder in which her father is suspect. She thinks she's going to present him with ideas and a list of suspects that'll lead the cops away from her dad, who obviously could not have done it. But she's in for a rude surprise. Anyway, the way this heel turn is handled is what I want us to examine closely. Katie checked her reflection in the Cedar Bay police station door before opening it. Despite having lived here most her life and having dated Lieutenant Crozier's son for 4 years, she'd never stepped foot into the building. He took a deep breath and held it for 4 seconds. Here goes nothing. She opened the door. She stepped right into it. Ouch! As luck would have it, an impossibly young police officer was leaving just then. He held the door open for her, You okay, ma'am? Ma'am? I'm fine. Nothing hurt but my pride. Can I help you with something? I'm here to see Lieutenant Crozier. Is he expecting you? She shook her head. I don't think so. I'll take you to him. Thank you. As they walked through the station, she couldn't help staring at the young man, wondering if he was old enough to shave, let alone protect the Cedar Bay community. They stopped in front of an office with a frosted glass window, and a plate making it clear whose office it was. Lieutenant Daniel Crozier. The young man, sporting rimless Warby Parker glasses, his badge said Talon, waited for Lieutenant Crozier to look up from his phone call before making a sound. When the lieutenant finally did, he failed to hide his displeasure at seeing Katie waiting in front of him. I'll call you back, he said, and then hung up. What can I do for you, Miss Chambers? She pulled out her list. The question is, what can I do for you? And the answer is a lot. Officer Talon's head snapped up, but Lieutenant Crozier dismissed him with a glare and offered Katie a seat. I assume this is about the Elena Larson investigation. Good guess, she said before sitting down. She pulled a list out of her bag. My crew and I have been working on a suspect list. She handed it to him. Your crew? He said, putting on his reading glasses and studying the paper. Yes, the South Island Jigsaw crew. My mom started it years ago. We meet every Sunday to review puzzles and grade them for the company. Every Sunday except when the Seahawks have a night game. Oh, he said with a nod, not looking up from the list. I'm familiar with that. I do have one question. He looked up. I'm curious why you didn't ask me anything today. He folded the list, set it down, and rested his arms on his desk. We spoke last night, and I spoke with your father at length this morning. Have you learned anything of interest so far? We don't comment on an ongoing investigation. Do you have any questions regarding our list? He glanced down and shook his head. Are you looking into any of those people? Like I said, you don't comment on an ongoing investigation. Correct, but we do appreciate when a citizen takes the initiative to help us, so your crew's efforts are greatly appreciated. But you're not going to do anything with it. His nostrils flared. I didn't say that. If we find something useful, we run it all the way down. I'm pretty confident that we have our man. If you have your man. He cleared his throat. If you have something to say, Miss Chambers, please say it. I'd appreciate candor. Someone coughed behind her and she turned, only to find her father being escorted across the room by two uniformed officers, his hands cuffed behind his back. Tears pressed against her eyes. She didn't want to fall apart, not here, not in front of Lieutenant Crozier, but she could feel that she was losing that battle. When the lieutenant tightened his scowl, that was the last straw. The tears started to flow. I'm sorry you had to see that, miss. It's Katie, Lieutenant, not miss. It's Katie Chambers. You've known my whole life. You've known my dad your whole life. Why are you treating me like a stranger? Why aren't you taking anything I'm saying seriously? She went on from there, accusing him of every horrible thing in the book. It was a tantrum for the ages. He must have been clenching his jaw super tight because the veins popped out of his neck. Didn't matter. He could get as mad as all get out for all she cared, because she'd decided right then and there she was going to lead her own investigation, whether he liked it or not. So there you have it, story fans. I don't read very well for a college-age girl, so I hope you enjoyed my interpretation of the read-through. But what you should have noticed was that the situation starts out with some comedy, bumping into the door, being called ma'am by a cop who seems to be too young to be a cop. All this kind of things lured into a sense of comfort. And then the other shoe drops when she's trying to convince police lieutenant, look at our stuff. We got all this list of suspects. I bet you, the professionals, haven't even thought of this. And of course that is, never go in and tell a guy how to do his job. So is she going to have some character growth on how to deal with this police lieutenant? We'll see. But, he's already made up his mind, and here comes Dad being arrested behind her. And so the key here is that you have to use the character's emotions to help change the tone dramatically so that we feel what she feels. Now, there is a little bit of a build-up in that you can kind of tell as the conversation progresses that, yes, the lieutenant's already made up his mind. But the real kicker is seeing and being shown Dad, who we have done a good job of setting up our relationship in all the previous chapters between Katie and her father. So we care like she does, when we see him being arrested. The big exclamation point here is her emotional reaction, and then the cause for determination, where this may be the actual inciting incident. She was already interested in helping solving the mystery because her dad was a suspect. But now she's going to be more determined than ever. And that sets up a really good character motivation. So if you can make your character connection personal, then when you have a situation that lulls you into a false sense of security, as opposed to the typical rising tension of a scene that we talk about, this can be very difficult to pull off, and J.B. Abbott pulls it off quite nicely. So another book has been recommended. Do pick up Picking Up the Pieces on Amazon. It's available now. And make sure you come back and comment below and tell me what you thought of this great cozy mystery. I've been the Writing Ref, and that's been The Call.